reasons why you would not keep the stock exhaust. The first one is sound. Here's what it sounds like. So I don't think that's legitimate. Here's a list of reasons why people think loud pipes are good, and here's what research says. Feel free to argue in the comment section. The next reason that I'm more interested in, weight savings. The third reason is I don't believe this is stainless steel. So I'm thinking about rust. And if I damage it really badly, road inspection in Japan, not as strict as Europe, much more strict than the USA, depending on your state. So having the stock exhaust for my biannual road inspection is not the dumbest idea in the world. With that, let's get to painting over this with some high heat paint. This is a good spot to let it dry. This and the muffler I got are linked below. This mid pipe was for a Suzuki GSX750, I believe. A tight fit, which is what you want. What you need to know, this is a 51mm pipe, so the inside matches that, and the outside, according to my measurements, pretty good match right there. Though it looks good there, there's a big space. I can either accept this position or I can cut this to lower the whole thing down and mount it closer to the frame. Because if you look from up here, that's sticking out really far, meaning that a draw could smack the hell out of this, and I don't want to replace the whole system every drop. So what I'm going to do is do some measurements, cut this much shorter, and then this mount should move far enough to the inside here. An advantage to moving this lower and forward is it'll fit better with the original mounts here, and it will do better keeping the weight low. For you, the viewer, if you wanted to do a decat system, which I think is silly, most catalytic converters, yes, they have weight very low, but they help your performance in some situations, and I don't want to breathe that toxic fume. You might want to poison yourself for a unnoticeable performance. When I said the benefits of changing the exhaust earlier, I didn't say anything about performance. You actually don't get much of performance gain. Sorry to the Americans, this is 91 horsepower. I can't imagine a future where I'm gonna wish it was more than 91 horsepower. Getting this specific pipe, it's because it shoots the exhaust backwards rather than up at the passenger, or worse, at the bike. Obviously a benefit to spending 10 times as much on a professional exhaust made for this. You don't have to do anything I'm doing right now. I'm going to assume this is going to be a big enough cut. I can cut more times, 3.5 centimeters. Now you don't measure like this. That wouldn't give you the space inwards. You've got to measure the space inwards. So from here straight up, it actually looks like the line I'm going to want. And if I did cut right there, that would give me 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters, that would put everything mounting perfect. So there's the baffle inside if you want to see. It's not perfectly straight. That's what you get for a knockoff. It's not technically a knockoff, it's a budget. If it were a knockoff, it came with a Yoshimura sticker. I'm not going to use this. I don't like logos, and I don't like pretending I bought something I didn't. If I wanted a Yoshi, I'm in Japan, I'd get a Yoshi. Before cutting, I have eye protection, protective gloves, I have hearing protection. Whatever you do is at your own risk. This is entertainment value. And now, I'm gonna get to work. Hammer with my hand because yeah, it hurt, but I don't want to deform the pipe. I'm gonna cut 1 more centimeter off. I am happy with this position. I am going to remind you that this is my bike. This is what makes me satisfied. I'm happy with the shorter length that I went with. The exhaust exit is actually still significantly higher than where it used to be. Not that I do water crossings or want to. It's close enough to the frame that it's comparable to the stock exhaust. This is, if you can see it, more narrow than the crash bars, so shouldn't take any brunts. Obviously, if a rock's right here, doesn't matter what you do. Now for the final fitting. This is liquid gasket, nothing sponsored. This is the cheapest one on Amazon. Real quick, here's something I found on AliExpress. So you could get rid of both foot pegs if you wanted. There we go. No, I'm gonna say one's enough. Let's do a quick leak check. It is leaking somewhere down here, which might be here, but I didn't feel any here. It is leaking from all the rivets. Every single rivet is leaking. The whole exhaust is leaking. Okay, so that muffler was leaking everywhere, and I replaced it with this, and I got a refund. Now, as far as this one, this is still stainless. The fake titanium color, you may think it looks stupid, you may think it looks good. I think it looks stupid, but I couldn't find this size and this shape for such a good price. And since it's perfectly round, it's less likely to leak. This is 30 centimeters long. The stock muffler's actual muffling section is 30 centimeters long, so that could be a benefit. The other one was 24 centimeters. It'll sit somewhere there. While I was waiting for it, I had the spare tabs welded here to match the shape. It cost me 10 bucks, so grinded off the original tabs. Okay, the clearance is just barely good enough, so it's still pretty narrow. Still using liquid gasket because it's not a perfect fit. Slightly ironically, it's now too short a space, so even the shortest spring doesn't do anything. I tied these wires and I'm ordering the right size springs, but for now this will do just to help the liquid gasket seal and to check for leaks and sound and all that. Spark arresters are not required in Japan. I just have this little stainless mesh I'm going to use for some version of it. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not recommending this. I'm not recommending against it. So there are some small leaks from the rivets, but they are really small, so I don't know if I'm willing to lose sleep over that. But like the other one, it was just like a breeze coming out of everywhere. At less than 10% the price of a SC project, I'm happy. And in the hand, it feels like it's at least half the weight less than stock. So I'm gonna go for a little bit of a road test.
So there you have the before and after. I haven't put the springs on yet. I checked just now, there's still no leaks, but springs will be better, so they're ordered for like $4 US. When I did my Zard exhaust, I made the video titled, "I can't believe it's street legal," because it was just obnoxious. Without the baffle in, there's no way this is street legal. Outside of the city where you get rid of the echoes and the tight traffic, it actually does sound quite good. If I was the type of person I was 10 years ago, a 20-some-year-old, I'd probably ride it without the baffle. But with the baffle, I can say it sounds better than stock, and it isn't deafening. The fun's there. I don't know how much I'm noticing the weight difference. I'm noticing the bike feels more lively. I don't know if it's the lesser back pressure. I don't know if it's the placebo effect of having an exhaust that sounds as good as this does. It definitely isn't a tuned exhaust. It's not like an SC Project exhaust. If you've got the money for that, I'd still probably go for that. I don't. And then also this one, I have a position that I like quite a bit. You can see the rear wheel much better from the side. It's a bit more of an open look. And the stock pipe comes out right about here as the exit. So I don't plan to do river crossings, but if I did, there you go. I have a little bit more forgiveness for getting through the water. One thing is that on the stock exhaust, right down here, there's a little hole, a drain hole for water to come out in case rain gets in there. Having this curve, it's not as big a problem, but it's still possible that rain could get in there. I'm not too worried. I park under a roof, so I don't expect anything to come out. The color, it's not as stupid as I thought initially, but it's also not titanium. Why pretend to have something you don't? And just a note for the comment that's bound to be in this video, because it's on every exhaust video I've done, why is there no flyby sound check? That's because this is my bike. I design it the way I want it for me, not for strangers who I don't know to get their approval. I don't care what some stranger thinks my exhaust sounds like. I don't care that my neighbors think, oh, he must be so cool and not have a small gentleman's tackle because of his loud exhaust. It's for me. It's for the weight savings. It's a bit for the aesthetics. The different sound is nice. The stock didn't sound bad. This sounds a little better. It sounds dramatically different without the baffle. Ride for yourself. Don't ride for what strangers think of you. Feel free to disagree in the comments section. Right around $70 US. I think this was pretty good. There is no rubbing of the exhaust, so it fits just right. There's just enough space. When I drop it, I don't even know how much it's going to get hit compared to the passenger foot peg. And I know someone's asking, what is this tail tighty? Everything is in a video in this playlist. This little missing piece of plastic here, that's something I'm still working on. I figured out a way to make the air filter change about 10 minutes. If you're interested, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, or don't. Suspension's way outside of the budget. But for now, thank you for watching. Thank you for entertaining my ramblings. And this has been Kairyu Rider. Till next time.